There we go. Finally. See that pulsing? Doesn't seem like much, right? Well, never in my life have you been able to see my veins pulse, nor did my veins stand out any time ever. Even if it was hot and I was doing hard work, that never was a thing until the Morgellons started. And this pulsing right there was one of the first things I noticed. It seemed really unusual, and it wasn't just this little spot there. It was my entire forearm. Why is this thing going out of focus so bad? Maybe it's my eyes. Um, you can see how it looks sucked in right there, right to the left of where it's pulsing. That feels like capillary action, really. And it's not my blood vessels, those have got to be lymph veins. And there's, not coincidentally, a whole bunch of lymphs at your wrists and at your elbow and the inside of your arm and under your arms and along your collarbone and the sides of your neck. There's some of the vein that wants to bulge up that never has ever done that, and they look like snakes. A lot of times there'll be little dots going along them, which is also where the gold colored hairs will just spontaneously grow out of. What else is there? There's a little lump developing. They just come and go when the wrist thing is happening. And literally, it used to be my entire wrist, from like here to here was discolored and would throb like that. And when that happened, at the same time, my temples would throb, my sides of my neck. I could feel it under my chin, in my armpits and my knees. And then I'd get brain fog, and then I'd get coordination problems. And then an airplane would fly over real slow at low altitude quite often. The airplanes are letting up now, and this seems to happen when there are no airplanes. Maybe that's the 5G at work. Gee whiz, those guys are. Isn't technology great? Yeah, Morgellons wrists. That's what the Morgellons wrist thing. So if you can just look at your wrist and it's pulsing and throbbing like this, that's not normal. I'm old enough to remember how doctors used to check for your pulse. They would hold your wrist and look at their watch because they could feel the pulses through their fingers. You couldn't just look at someone's wrist and easily see their pulse while they're just normal breathing rate, and heartbeat. That was not a thing. Now you ask somebody, show it to somebody. Oh yeah, that's your pulse, where you can see your pulse. No, that's not how it's supposed to work. That is evidence of some problem. There's also, I don't know if it shows up real well. Let's see here. See the little white spot? There's a little white spot is always wants to be there, right there, right to the right of where it's pulsing. And it doesn't always pulse like that either. And it'll pulse like that just in the middle of the night. I'll be sleeping and it'll wake me up because I'll hear thump, 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 thump in my ears, and my wrists are throbbing, and I'll wake up and have some issues, and I'm just like, motherfucker, I'm sick of this fucking bullshit. Thanks, Uncle Sam. I'm sure it's just my imagination that is going on. That's just the power of my imagination, right? Give me a break. Morgellons wrist. Ain't that great? Isn't technology wonderful? Wow.